I call this heart-centered listening online, deep listening to those you serve. So I'm going to be sharing about using user feedback to shape and create your online courses and content creation. So whether you're a coach or an artist or an educator, or you just wish to create an audience for a workshop or a project, really knowing how to scale effectively by using user feedback and what I like to call the piloting methodology, rather than spending a lot of money up front based on your own assumptions. It's truly I like to say it's a golden ticket of wisdom. And I'll share a little bit of a backstory. I don't want to go too much into different clients and how I've worked with them, but I've worked with a lot of clients who've put a lot of resources into building very large online courses and spending a lot of money doing so. And there was a point in time where I connected with a wonderful teacher called Danny Eny, and he is the founder of Miracy. And he's an online course guru that really champions a piloting methodology. So the clients that I worked with, how they built these courses was really born of passion and love. I need to frame this so you can see my wisdom stick. Here we go. And they truly felt in their hearts that having this Cadillac course would be absolutely appropriate to what they had to give to the world, to creating from their entelechy and their heartfelt desires. And they indeed were. And they convinced me of it too. I do remember one client in particular, I still floated the piloting methodology and I said, you might consider doing this approach instead of going all out, However, some of those courses did not. They just met with silence. Looks like my cat is upstaging me over here. There we go. Cats do that, don't they? Even if they're small in the little corner. And it broke my heart. I mean, it's even some of the larger companies I worked with did this as well. And they just weren't able to launch it cost effectively after they had built it because it cost so much to build. And some of them never cracked the marketing code. Some of the clients I worked with were just heartbroken. And it was really terrible. And at a certain point, I decided I'm going to be very direct with clients. I'm not just going to, say, yeah, give me all your money. I'll build all this thing professionally for you. Until I had to talk with them about the piloting methodology. So I want to play a little video here. I had this queued up. Let's just see if it's all ready to go. Oh, it is ready to go. This is Danny Eny, and it's a 6-minute video. We're coming to the end of ours, but he talks a little. This is a video in a course called his online course bootcamp. And it references a little bit about the piloting methodology of I may not share this. I'm actually having second thoughts. And the reason is because I noticed he took down the piloting, this free boot camp on his website. So it may not be appropriate for me to share. I'm glad I had that little extra sense of attunement because I could get in trouble by streaming this on Facebook right now. So actually, I'm going to summarize it. So this is what the piloting methodology is. It's using a very attuned system of creating an offering by finding out who's your target market, who you can solve problems for, and being very specific in creating the content. And then instead of building an online course, what you do is you build a pilot. And a pilot is something you get from literally two or three or four people to maybe 14. But not huge. It's how much you can gracefully fill, because you're not going to be spending a lot of time on enrollment with this. Instead, you're going to be spending time on building a pilot that is a micro version of your online course. Or else, something else I suggest, you can also build a pilot that's a section of your online course that is something that you can use the recordings of to be part of a sales funnel. It's a little beyond the scope of what we're presenting right now. I could talk about how that works too. But the purpose of this pilot is you're going to be using how people experience this pilot course, that you're going to be taking them through personally. It's not an evergreen course, I believe. I believe with the piloting methodology, this is something you take people through personally, and you see how they experience the course. Because I hear this is almost invariable, is that what you think is very clear and what you think is valuable and what you think people understand is not always what they do. And so they often will provide feedback from this smaller course that you've built that will completely change how you create the online course. It's like a test. It's like a pilot. It's a pilot, just like they do in television, where they're like, oh, how's the audience going to respond? Now, here's the thing. This isn't the be all and the final, final end all evaluation of what will or won't work in terms of building an online course, because it's just like Hollywood. Sometimes the best intentions are clunkers and box office bombs, despite an army of human beings thinking it's great and a bevel of studio executives thinking it's going to succeed. Nobody knows anything. They really don't. But what the piloting methodology is it uses your ability to do heart-centered listening. And that's a term of spiritual psychology that I used. It's about listening to others with an open heart and a full expression of deep love and acceptance. And what this looks like in a piloting methodology is you create continual feedback as part of the course to say, you enroll these people at a lower price in exchange for them providing a lot of feedback for you about what they think, how they think, if they're confused, and is this solving your problem? And then you check and you run this course for them, and you check back also after the course, after a certain period of time, to see if what you've created has sustained transformation in their lives. Because sustainment is such an incredibly valuable part of online courses. Did it really work? Did it actually have legs beyond the container of the course? And you use this data to scale up and to build something a little larger. And going into that is something that can be a larger conversation. But it's something that I always really ask people to do. And one thing you can do with the piloting methodology is you can self-film with this. You can self-film. So you can, if you need a tech cohort, you call me, of course. But you can even run this with an assistant. I do recommend that if you're doing this as a Zoom course, you self-film with the QuickTime method, because you can simultaneously film with the QuickTime player and with the Zoom. It's usually using the same camera, and you'll get better recordings off of that. That'll be better for recording. But with piloting methodologies, it's really you're using a more of a DIY approach to absolutely be attuned to how people are experiencing and receiving value from the content you're creating. And then you begin to create your online course from that. There can even be an intermediary, something between the pilot and the ultimate online course, depending on the scope of what you are creating, your offerings and the content you're delivering. Anyway, folks, we've actually come to the end of this training period. I'm very honored to have been able to just share a little bit of the wisdom that I love to bring forward in how I create my professional presence in the world. And again, I highly encourage you to check out this beautiful Kickstarter. If you go to this Kickstarter and you just read it and just imagine it and see where what it touches within you, I think you're going to find a lot of value, and you can support this beautiful new community for a very low price, just $29. It's just a vote of confidence. $29 saying yes to online trios every month. $29 to saying, yes, I am amazed that I get access to a platform with all of these content creators and to connect with each other, as a chat, as an alternative to social media, where we can really tap into our expression of our wisdom and our learnings. And also to join as a content creator, where you get an incredible amount of benefits for a very low price. And if this truly incredibly resonant with you, you can join as an angel investor or a board member to really, truly be part of this at a very deep level. We already have about 6 board members who have contributed their skills and mastery and their investments that they're going to get a lot out of. Thank you so much for joining me today, everybody. Have a magnificent Sunday.